Bear Stearns says that every dollar increase in the price of crude adds 4 cents to Exxon's bottom line. And so far, the average price of light sweet is up $5 this quarter. Melissa, back to you.
When it comes to PR, they just can't win, though. Thanks, Mary. Tomorrow, a critical report due at the UN Security Council on Iran's nuclear program. Several sources tell On the Money it's not going to be good. But it doesn't look like Iran cares either. They vow to continue their nuclear program. They vow to use oil, their military, and terrorism all as weapons. Today, reports surfaced Iran has a new set of long-range missiles from North Korea that put all of Europe in range. Those missiles can carry nuclear warheads, too. Carl Quintanilla is on the money as the showdown with Iran hits a new crisis level.
We have seen an increased state of alert.
There is a real possibility down the road that this gets ugly.
We could certainly see prices soar to $200, $300 a barrel.
Iran defying and threatening the world, making a lot of people very nervous. The Wall Street Journal editorial board stopping just short of calling for war. OPEC already saying Iran has added at least $15 a barrel to oil, and this crisis is likely only in the beginning stages. In the last few weeks, Iran clearly rubbing the oil card in the West's face, despite promises not to do so. Ian Bremmer runs the Eurasia Group, a global risk and consulting firm.
Oil has already been used as a weapon by Ahmadinejad because of the tests of the torpedoes. I mean, they're fully aware of the fact that that has an impact on oil markets.
Iran's president saying he hopes to hike oil in a bid to hurt the U.S. and Europe. And then those military exercises right where they would hurt the global economy the most, in the Straits of Hormuz.
It becomes a very bad worst-case scenario quite quickly when you realize that 25% of the world's oil passes just off Iranian shores through the narrow Strait of Hormuz, which is basically boils down to 2 one-mile-wide shipping lanes.
This week, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad again on the verbal warpath, threatening the United States and its allies in the region and beyond with military action and waves of terrorist attacks. He also told his country he doubts sanctions are coming, and military action not an issue. The exact opposite coming from the White House. Military action, a definite option. In the immediate near term, sanctions clearly in the works. It's a collision course. Gerald Steinberg is a professor of conflict management.
In the U.S. Soviet days, there were ways of communicating that, and the leaders had met each other. They knew something about how the process of decision-making works. We have none of that in the case of Iran. Iran has no knowledge and understanding of how Washington works, and the United States has to guess at how decision-making takes place in Tehran. That's a very dangerous combination.
Still, no sign Iran is prepared to give up its quest to go fully nuclear, after announcing it had mastered the critical enrichment process earlier this month. Massive Iranian military exercises spooking the oil markets. Ken Timmerman wrote Countdown to Crisis, the coming nuclear showdown with Iran.
The Iranians believe and have demonstrated their ability to attack shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Persian Gulf. Remember, in 1987, they attempted to do this earlier. They mined the Strait of Hormuz, and they did, in fact, hit a number of ships at that point. Today, they have much more sophisticated mines, which they've acquired from both Russia and China, which could not just attack commercial shipping, but in some sources believe could in fact bring a U.S. aircraft carrier to the bottom of the sea.
Timmerman adds Iran has a plan to knock out all shipping in the Gulf, military and civilian alike. And almost 1/4 of the world's oil supply runs through those waters. On the money, Carl Quintanilla, CNBC.
Microsoft falling in after-hours trading. The stock down after Microsoft missed expectations, but still posted a 16% rise in quarterly profit. Guidance also lighter than Wall Street was looking for. Jim Goldman on the money.
Well, mixed messages from Mr. Softy, the world's largest software maker, coming in right in line with Wall Street revenue expectations, $10.9 billion. But the real surprise comes on the bottom line, 29 cents for EPS when the street was looking for something close.
And the upside potential is quite great, especially if the Fed is close to the end of its tightening campaign. High energy prices are actually going to help slow the economy down, which perversely will be good for stocks because it'll help the Fed get out of the way. Stock prices have always been and will always be a function of both earnings and long-term interest rates. And despite all the headlines, those are the two factors that make a difference.
But there is a very ominous cloud closing in on the market's recent good fortune, Iran, as a report to the United Nations Security Council is being delivered proving Iran's nuclear program is not in compliance. Iran's president said, quote, "We don't give a damn. It's the showdown with Iran, and it just got worse." Threats out of